Okay, my beloved Scum faction. Oh, I have things to talk about here, Justin. The Aggressor Assault Fighter, more commonly referred to as the IG-2000, has had a pretty decent points decrease across the board.
Yeah.
Previously all at 70 points, which means there was no way to field 3 of them, and now we can.
You are looking at this with a big smile.
C, B, and D can all be fielded with the title for 199 points. Now, I don't really know how powerful that is. You can chuck on the jamming beam on all of them, which is now free as well, which is it's extra shots with B, so there's no point not taking it. I don't think those extra jams are very impactful, but I think it's something you put on. And the fact of the matter is, B still gets C and D's ability onto him as well. So you still have 3 of these things that are powering out free evade tokens after they boost. I mean, the Brobots 2 of list isn't really that good right now because of the way the rules have changed and heavy laser cannon, blah, blah, blah. It's not as great right now. It's definitely worse than they were in first edition. Are they that bad that you wouldn't want to fly 3 of them? I think I probably want to try it. Actually, but the best thing you can do with these now is 2 of them plus Forlom. Forlom has not come down in points. What was I looking at before? A, B, and Forlom. And then all of them can double tap with cannons. All of them can pass their focus tokens. Calculate tokens.
That seems...
These are things that can happen now, Justin.
Yeah.
Not looking forward to that, are you?
No, not really.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that is necessarily as broken as Boba Forlom Palop. And that's what I keep coming back to in my mind. This ultra-efficient list that the Scum faction had access to, with everything firing on all cylinders. Like, the triple droid thing is still a bit janky, still falls apart when you take away one of the pilots. It's just good stats and very fun synergy. And I really hope the droid thing pays off because it's really fun to fly. And I don't think it creates a negative play experience for your opponent. I just think it's just like, it's just powerful stuff. I may be making assumptions there. You might disagree with me. That's fine.
Well, but once you take out one of the IGs, it's...
Take out one of the IGs, suddenly the other 2 lose that ability as well. And, I mean, jamming beams, tractor beams aren't... It's not double tapping heavy laser cannons. It's not none of that. Don't worry, guys. It's going away. It's going away. Second edition. It's good for everyone. The BT-Layer 4 Y-Wing. Just a points increase on Cavill and Drea Renthal. As I said before, the Rebel ones were reduced because they don't have the list slot. That is what I suspect going on here. As I said before as well, turrets, the gunners and all that stuff are cheaper, so the Scum Y-Wing still benefits.
I was going to say, realistically, Cavill is realistically at a 0.
Yeah.
Or even a negative.
He takes a veteran turret gunner. He's already saved 2 points from that, so he's still up on the equation. So that's fine. I don't think there's a problem with this at all. 1 and 2 points is not that effectual. I think it probably to do with certain points cost and certain lists they were playing around with. Again, Escape Craft up across the board, especially Lando and L3 seeing a lot of play.
Yeah, this is probably because it coordinates.
Yeah, no points increase on the Suicide Droid, but who cares? It didn't really matter. It had no upgrade slots or anything like that. So now the cheapest coordinate we have on the Scum faction's L3. It's not cheaper than the Z95 now. That's fair. That's fair. I still think it's great, 26 points, don't get me wrong. I don't think that's an unfair points increase. I think that's solid. Moving on to the Fire Spray, a 6-point increase on Boba Fett. Fair enough. I mean, as we're going to see later in this list, some of the stuff that makes Boba Fett powerful has also gone up. But yeah, Boba Fett's still pretty cool.
I do love in the article they said that his price had increased.
That's fair enough. He's taken out a lot of very high value targets. I think that is fair enough. And look, I love Boba Fett. This is fair.
Are you willing to pay the extra credits now?
Oh yeah, and like the medium base, the boost bait built in, he's so much better than he was in first edition. So no complaints from me. Whatever. G1A Starfighter, a points decrease on Zachos and the Gan Finesman. The Gan Finesman being the one and only generic. Zachos is an initiative match with Forlom, but it sees no meta play whatsoever. So they've got to make him more tantalising. He was already cheaper than Forlom, Fulham has like those 2 burnt-in abilities. Fulham staying at the same points. As I said in the previous video, I was expecting that. It's good to see because Fulham is really powerful, very versatile, but he's not as oppressive as like Paylob and Boba and that kind of stuff. He's just a good option that Scum Faction has. So not taking away all of those makes me happy.
Yeah. Speaking of Paylob.
Oh yeah, there he is, up by 2 points. Also Dace and Torquil Mux, all the name parts have gone up in points. It's very subtle. The biggest thing here is the Moldy Crow. Not so much these guys, so that's fair enough. You got to remember as well, the lists he went into were so tight points-wise. You can't Boba Paylob Fulham anymore.
No.
Not with any kind of competitive build-out, so that's fair enough. It only needed that much to change, and the biggest thing with Molly Crow, so that's fair enough. Jumpy Jumperson, the Jumpmaster 5000. I know what people are going to say. Oh no, it's come back. But it's come back, you guys. Yes, Jumpmaster meta. No. The Jumpmaster is nowhere near as good as it was in first edition. Only 1 turret, red rotate actions.
And its style is also...
it hasn't got the white Segnors loop. What were you thinking, FFG? But no, it's fine. Relax. Don't worry. It's not going to take over the meta. Dengar at 6 less points is very interesting. Makes him a very tantalising option over Boba Fett, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I already thought he was pretty decent because of the way he worked with Punishing One. But he has not decreased as much as everyone else. Teltra for 10 less points. That ability is absolute jank, so that's fair enough. Contracted Scouts at 6 less points. I want to see a viable Alpha Strike build with these guys that isn't oppressive. So that's cool. Bringing them down significantly and bringing up protons slightly feels like the right move from FFG.
Yeah.
Guys, don't worry. These things aren't taking over the meta. There's still large base ships in a meta where large base ships are not that sought after.
Yeah,
they're large base ships, and they've come down in a points change where every large base ship has come down significantly. They've come down less than most other large base ships. Just remember that, you guys. I wouldn't stress too much here. What is interesting is the Lancer class pursuit craft. A 4-point reduction across the board. Again, large base ships. They're all coming down. But 8 points. 8 points, yes. Yeah. Very happy with that.
And that is your one and only Force user.
Yes, on the entire Scum faction. So it's good to have something remotely viable. I don't think there's any crazy dope combo with her. I like her with heightened perception. I like firing at Brain, help me out here, Initiative 7. I like the interesting build-outs that these things can do with multiple elicits, so it's good to have point reduction to make those things more possible.
Yeah.
You can go 3 Shadowport Hunters with Feedback Array and Dead Man Switch now if you want to be just the baddest of badass. But don't do that. Looks great. I really like the look of this ship. I don't think 4 points across the board is going to make it see huge meta play, but it needed a push. Again, large base ship, blah, 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 blah. M3a Interceptor, only a very slight point decrease across the board. A more significant one on Serasu, which I like to see. Serasu is like the defensive Howl Runner. He gives your friendly ships rerolls, which is fun, but Scum don't really want swarms per se, unless the Mining Guild tie takes off. It's an archetype which is awkward on the Scum faction. Genesis Red is still... It doesn't work. It doesn't have VI or anything. When you lock a ship, you get all the same tokens as that ship. So it's Initiative 4 though, so it doesn't react to token stacking aces. It can't take VI to go up to a PS9 like it did in first edition. Yeah, that's exactly the same thought process I had as well.
I was thinking, could you steal a Force token or something like that?
No. It doesn't work. It's I forget. I'll put the card up on the screen for you guys to see, but I don't think it's going to start to see relevance or anything like that. It's not a big enough push, I think, to see meta play. But if everything else comes down, blah, 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 maybe. Who knows? If cannons become cheap enough. We'll see what happens. Big points push on the Space Tug.
Especially for the Jakku Gunrunner.
5 points. That's pretty big on a ship that was that cheap. I made the comment in the last video that I don't think they should change this because I think the Scum faction want access to this kind of effect. It's something very unique to the Scum faction. People disagree with me massively. A lot of people were calling for a points increase on the Quadrant Space Tug Tractor Array. Let's just call it the Quad Jumper, just for my brain doesn't melt whenever I say that.
Yep.
Oh yeah, by the way, guys, it's also very hot today. Blah, blah, blah. Australian summer never stops. Yeah. Yeah, okay, that's fair enough. Look, it did see a lot of meta share, so I can't complain too much. I like that they've crushed the points together, so now it's only 3 points to get Zuvio over a Jakku Gunrunner.
Yeah, like, now you'd just be sitting there going, well, why not?
Yeah, why not chuck in a Zuvio, do some crazy bomb stuff. Could be fun. Speaking of crazy bomb stuff, the Scourge. So with that in mind, Zuvio, and if the Scourge becomes better, suddenly bombing on the Scum faction, maybe? Why not Zoidberg? The Scum H6 Bomber has had another not insignificant point decrease on a platform that I already thought was a pretty decent and cheap buy-in, and they've also got gunner slots now.
Yeah, this could be good.
Yeah.
This could be real good.
Captain Nim at 48 points. I mean, it's interesting because I spoke about this, and look, I'm going to come out and say it. I haven't playtested it myself. I just think it looks really good, and I think people sort of thought that same thing, and when they came to playtest it, they realised, like moving around the arc is difficult. It's more of a brawler, less a bomber now. I get that. But I really love how it brawled in first edition. I love just flying 3 of them with autoblast turrets and just getting in real close with those Talon rolls and just punching a ship over and over again. Because the Talon roll and the autoblast, it basically means you can just hound a ship and don't let up.
Yeah.
They can't outmaneuver that autoblaster. It's really, really fun. Now, there's no autoblaster in second edition. But Lock Revenant, 43 points. There's options there. I like Soul Sigsa with Eamon Azamine. I think that's a list worth looking at, especially now Boba Fett's more expensive. Blah, blah, blah. It's all the same stuff that I was keen on anyway, but now that the more oppressive things have been made more expensive, it's something worth looking at. Yeah. Don't know if it's good enough, but I like it. I think it's a cool ship. Moving over to the YV666 Light Freighter. The bounty bus is no more. No more 3 crew. Lose a crew, gain a gunner.
But is that really that bad?
No, it's not that bad. Now that the three crew thing is now specifically for the First Order, which it feels like a First Order / Resistance thing to do because it's flashy, it's new, blah, blah, blah. And look, you can still do some pretty dumb stuff with gunner plus 2 crew. Yeah. At least you might be able to moving forward. There isn't really any like really cool 3 crew thing you could do like you could in first edition. Was like Boba Zachos Forlom, where you could strip the shields and then just punch them through with Boba and then take one of their cards in the first round of engagement. But
you've still got Morale where you're able to just fly off and then start doing stupid things.
Morale's cheaper, Bosk's cheaper. It's a big ship, so it's going to happen. Even the Trandoshan Slaver at 56 points, a reduction of 2 points. Yeah, I mean, I'd love to see the bounty bus do fun things that aren't too degenerate. Maybe this will help. I don't really see anything on the Scum faction doing anything crazy just yet, but we'll see.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Moving down, Astromechs Genius at 2 points. Good. No more free Genius. Look, it wasn't doing anything too broken with the meta right now, but I think just having free Genius is a bit too dangerous. Especially in a world where the Scourge is now more accessible. Maybe FFG were like, we don't want to do that again. No, that was bad. First edition, I'm having nightmares. Nim bumping into a Falcon, dropping a bomb, bumping into a Falcon, dropping a bomb over and over again. Before they changed the way... Moving over to the crew, 000 is increased by 2 points. 000 is seeing a lot of meta play. It's actually having more play on the Empire than the Scum faction because of the Reaper and Darth Vader and that kind of thing, which will be more relevant now that Whisper can't take Darth Vader. So, by the way, we spoke for half an hour before we started recording this video. There are still things buzzing through our heads that we're thinking of right now. Points reduction on Forlom, Chikatra, Vizago, Maul, Zachos, and Jabba the Hutt. Pretty insignificant point reductions across most of them. Zachos at 2 is interesting. Jabba the Hutt at 6 is very interesting. It's the one commandery card the Scum faction has. Yeah. And I'd like to see play. And now that the Falcon's not cheaper on the Scum faction, so Jabba being cheaper, alongside a Lancer.
You could have a Millennium Falcon with Han Solo.
Oh yes, like half an hour after that last scene that we see is that they find Jabba and now he's
he steps on the tail.
Spoilers. But it's interesting. Okay, in the gunner slot, Han Solo from 4 points all the way up to 12 points.
That's
pretty big. Now, I think that's too much.
Yeah.
But I also appreciate the fact that this has done a lot and FFG are like, nope, that's it. You've had your time, go away. The reason I think it's too much is because it's more expensive than Maul, and I think just having a Force token is arguably better than occasionally doing a red focus.
Yeah.
You have to have not already done a focus and all that kind of stuff. I think just having a Force token is really good and arguably more consistent. So making it 1 point more than Maul, I think you can make an argument to make it the same as Maul, but having it a point more, okay, it's a gunner, it's not a crew, so you can't really compare them. Also, big ships have come down in cost. We do have to appreciate that too. So having access to that ability could have been very problematic. It's like, okay, we have to make sure that the big ships don't have all that kind of crazy stuff to do.
Have Manaru with a Han Solo.
Oh yeah, YV666s with two really dumb crew together, and okay, I can see what's going on here. FFG, it's probably fair enough. Sad face. No, it's fair. No, Han Solo at 4 points was a misstep quite easily. I think FFG made the right call here. I loved it. I'm more than happy to admit that what I was doing was a bit degenerate, but that's what we do when we go to like Nats and that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
Titles, ID 2000, negative 1 point. Yeah, boy. Marauder up by 3 points. Yeah, okay. Just make sure that is no longer an option.
You're not Han Soloing.
But Andrasta and Slave 1 have come down.
Yeah.
Slave 1 particularly at 2 points. Ooh. I'm very interested. I was already interested in that on Boba. Yeah. But the problem with that was that Marauder Han was so efficient. I didn't want to take Slave 1. Slave 1 at 2 points, it's an ability that doesn't work great if you're already flying super efficiently, but it's a good panic button to be able to change the direction you're flying. And with Boba Fett wanting to be in range 1, I really want to play with that ability. Yeah. I don't really care that he's getting access to proton torpedoes. I don't think that's a big deal, but I do like the ability to just change the way he's flying.
What does Andrasta do?
Andrasta gives you a reload and another bomb or another 2 bombs. It's ordnance stuff. It's for Eminazamine. It's actually not bad on Boba Fett and Cressus Trellix, who can fire his missiles backwards. So he wants access to reload and that kind of stuff. I'm glad that both of them made two because they were just seeing no meta play. It's just one of those things. FFG have to be very careful with things that just become a bit too efficient. Things that slip through the gaps in playtesting and all that kind of stuff. Also, a big increase in Molicro. We already spoke about that, so we won't do that again. Okay, guys, we had to have a quick break there because we just recorded for an hour and we still haven't finished this yet. So we've had our coffee because apart from being X-Wing players, we're also Melburnians. Let's continue with the new factions, the Resistance and First Order, because we have had a few changes here.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting this.
No, neither was I. And I think what it boiled down to was FFG probably playtested these changes multiple times. I mean, they only come around once every half a year, so they're going to change the points, try the new environment and stuff. And that means even the very new stuff that they've already bounced for the old meta has to be changed as well. Yeah. That makes perfect sense. Points reductions on the Star Fortress across the board. I'm very interested in that. Yeah. I already like this platform at the points it was at, so... Yeah, no complaints there.
Have you got one?
No, I don't. No, I don't. I only own T-70s and the Falcon.
Yeah, might need to get one.
I might need to get 2. Actually, yeah. I mean, you could do more than that, but then you can't do bombs and that kind of stuff. Yeah. So I think 2 of these with an A-Wing. Yeah. I don't think we can fit X-Wings in still. It's not that reduced.
No.
But yeah, very, very interesting. Very, very interesting to see what we can do with those points. Yeah. On the RZ2A wing, no points changes, but the lowly little blue squadron recruit has a talent now.
Yep, so it is only a single talent?
Yes, indeed. Yeah. The rest have the doubles, so it can do like heroic shenanigans for a very cheap buy-in. Might be like a multiple A-wing sort of list built around that. I think that is more a tactic for the Rebellion, just like the FOs and the regular TIE fighters. You want to swarm on the cheaper versions of the ship. But this little guy might be good filler. I don't know, like 2 very jacked up X-Wings, or like an X-Wing and a Star Fortress and a little A-Wing. There's some points to play around with there. I think this is mainly just to make more lists possible, which is the main thing with the squads, with the factions, with the fewest amount of ships. The Scavenge YT-1300 has gained the missile slot. Okay.
Yeah, you didn't use it?
I don't think I'm going to use it anyway. Like Han or Ray builds, generics. I'm not really interested in it, to be honest. I think the ship already attacked pretty well without it. But it had it on the Rebellion version, so there's no real good reason to take it off in the Resistance. Homing missiles gone up in points? I mean, we'll see those missile changes in a tick when we get down to the generics. And in Astromechs, our BBs have become variable points. So through initiative 0 to 6, BB-8 is now 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 respectively. And the Astromech is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 respectively.
So 2 points difference between the BB Astromech and the BB-8. I think that was the same as last time.
Yeah, sounds about right. BB-8 can do boosts and barrel rolls, and BB's just at barrel rolls. Yeah, something like that. 0 points for 0 initiative ships, so that's something to watch out for if that ever happens. I like 1 point on the 1 initiative X-Wings. That's interesting, at least.
Could be cheeky.
Yeah, it could be a bit fun. I don't think it's broken or anything. It is worth noting BB-8 was already 8 points. So he only scales down from that point.
Yeah, so it looks good.
Yeah, I like 8 points on Poe Dameron. I thought that was really, really competitive. So the fact that he is only cheaper on different platforms sits well with me. It means things like Eloatzi, that kind of stuff. They get a bit of a cheaper buy-in to him if they want to do that. Sounds good. I don't think it breaks or anything like that, but it means there's more options. More options, always good. Moving over to the First Order, the TIE FO.
I'm a little bit sad.
Null has lost his talent slot.
I mean, I completely understand why.
I know, but it was fun.
Yeah, I love the idea. I never got to fly it. It was Null with...
Swarm Tactics, was it? Where it passes off the initiative?
Yeah, so what you'd do is you'd use Null, still at initiative 7, and then you'd give Blackout initiative 7 shots.
Or Kylo, or whatever you want. Yeah, good fun. Look, Null is not really supposed to be an ace. I think that's the flavour they're going for. And giving him a talent's kind of weird.
Yeah.
I don't know why they gave it to him in the first place. I don't know what happened to make him lose it. That's what I'm confused about. I can't point at one specific thing that makes him go...
I honestly think it was the idea of the fact that he could make other ships shoot at initiative 7.
I think so. I don't know why FFG wouldn't catch that in the first place, but whatever. Moving down to the TIE Silencer. Big point reduction across the board and no modification slot. Okay.
I didn't fly it with any modifications.
No.
So
I think the reason for that is because Afterburners has come down in points. We'll get to that in a tick. But ultimately, I don't really think that's a huge loss for the ship.
Yeah.
I think the points reduction is a much bigger plus than the modification slot going away is a minus.
Yeah.
Kylo at 76 feels really, really good.
Yeah. I think I might even be able to fly Kylo now.
Yeah. Also, Supernatural Reflexes now scales up, so it's no longer like just staple it onto Kylo. It's now more expensive than it used to be. So, okay, probably fair enough.
Yeah, not going to be doing that.
But I like the idea of hate on Kylo.
Yeah.
Predictive shot. I think there's some cool stuff we can be doing there. And as more Force upgrades come out, there's not just one really powerful Force upgrade and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I don't really think this is that significant with the rest. I like it on Blackout because I think from your playtesting and from what I've seen in general, the Blackout ability is feel bad when you don't get it to work. So you really want to make sure that the point investment is still just decent on an Initiative 5 Silencer. And 64 feels way better than 70. So, it feels decent. I think this is all fair enough. I don't think the platform really functioned the way FFG wanted it to, and I don't think we want Kylo to be back up at Initiative 6, so that's all fair enough. Moving on to generic upgrades, this is a whole hodgepodge of random stuff. The R2 Astromech has moved down to 4 points, so it's now R2-D2 and the R2 Astromech have gone down to be a bit cheaper. Yeah, they give you the disarm token. It's not like it was in first edition where you just regenerate shields and all that kind of stuff. There's real tangible cost in it, and they've changed the points to reflect that. Got some nice cheap cannons.
Yeah, jamming beam. Now 0.
Yes. That means on like those IG builds, you can have jamming beams in for free. On the Mist Hunter, you can have jamming beam for free. So it's no longer like Forlom with the Mist Hunter title, just doesn't take a cannon because it doesn't need to. It just chucks this on because it can.
Yeah.
And then shenanigans with like IG-88D means you get a free jamming beam shot. Even though jamming beam is really not what you want to be doing with a ship with 3 red dice, it is something that you have as tangible benefit if it's just a bonus shot anyway.
Yeah.
For sure. Tractor beam at 2 points as well. I like this for the IGs. Yeah. Also, TIE Defenders. It's good to have a nice cheap option for them. I don't think they want cannons right now.
No.
So chuck on jamming beam, Justin, because you can. You'll never use it, but that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. You'll feel good because you have more cards on the table. Moving over to the crew. Perceptive Copilot, down by 2 points. I like this.
Ooh.
It was already...
I missed that.
It was seeing a bit of meta play because of the Dash Raw Khan combo, which is no longer a thing. I suppose, it's not really seeing play anywhere else. It's a cool, powerful ability.
Perceptive Copilot at 8 points on a K-Wing.
Yeah, that's...
Especially Asajj Tukatu.
Yes,
He's going to be feeling good.
There's stuff there for sure. Perceptive Copilot is essentially the reprint of Recon Spec from first edition. It went up in points because Recon Spec was already a bit undercosted.
Yeah.
It probably went up too far, and they're just readjusting to reflect it. I think it's good to be a bit conservative on the first try and then scale it back slightly as you see what the meta does.
Yeah.
Supernatural Reflexes.
This has jumped.
This has jumped a lot. Now, look, if you're at initiative 0, 1, 2, it's always 4 points.
Yeah.
I like the possibility of having force users that are really cheap and
I'm
interesting.
At the present moment, I don't even think we have any.
No, but we do have force users at initiative 3, and it's actually a reduction on those.
Okay.
We're talking generic Inquisitors, Jedi Knights on the Jedi Interceptor. This might make those kind of builds more viable. But the main thing going on here is you put it on Vader, it almost costs 3 times as much. You put it on Kylo, it's twice as much. You put it on Luke, it's twice as much. Yeah, fair cop. It was really powerful.
Yeah. Completely understand why, but
Yeah, I know. It's nice to have these kind of things. But then again, we don't want auto ads, which just make every other upgrade irrelevant. So I can understand this. And look, I remember when it was first revealed and we saw it was 12 points and everything else was cheaper. And I just said, it doesn't matter. It's still going to be the only one that people play. And it has been. I think the most significant thing going on here, which people are completely missing, is the fact that it's dirt cheap on the generics.
Yeah.
Was it 8 points on your initiative 3s if we get initiative 1 and 2 like Jedi Padawans? It's something to think about because then they become like the best blocker in the game.
Yeah.
Because they can do all that kind of stuff. We'll see what happens there, but I'm curious to keep an eye on that. Gunners, Agile Gunners, Veteran Turret Gunner. Now, this is very significant for both Y-Wings and for big ships. Big ships need some kind of utility, especially like VCXs, which can shoot out the front and then can overlap the front with the turret.
Yeah.
Y-Wings, again, can overlap with their turret and that kind of stuff. It's more difficult on like your YTs and stuff, which have to shoot in opposite directions.
Yeah, and the K-Wing as well.
Yeah, for sure. Good. I think that's probably fair enough. It's basically done nothing. And 8 points to 6 points is not significant. Agile Gunner is an effect that I quite like.
Yeah.
It means you can just move the arc at the end of the turn. It's something I liked with gyroscopic targeting in first edition on the Lancer Pursuit Craft. I'm glad that kind of effect is kind of like a softened version on every turreted ship now.
Yeah.
But you do need to burn the gunner slot in order to have it. So, fair enough. It's still way more than it was in first edition anyway, so yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
Missiles, barrage rockets has come down a fraction of a hair.
But at the same time,
the platforms for it have gone up. So yeah, it's probably fair enough. The Bomber and the Punisher, I think, are the only things that can take it right now.
Yeah. K-Wing can also take it.
Oh, is that? Yeah, there's a few random things that can take it, but it's just basically a better regular attack that you can sort of sink extra charges into. It's interesting effect. honestly, it has seen meta play, but it's seen meta play on things that are getting a hard nerf, so that's fine. Homing missile up by 2 points.
I can understand why.
Yeah, I don't really love homing missiles, even at 3 points. So going up by 2 points to 5. Look, they are trying to value ordnance a bit more overall. This and proton torpedoes. So, yeah, I don't feel like this is really breaking anything right now. So I'm not quite sure why they've done this. I guess the Resistance YT now has missiles. Yeah. I don't want homing missiles anyway. No. I don't know. Interesting. Again, this is probably one of those things where they tested the waters and they thought, oh, this better go up just to reflect everything else. Yeah. That's all I can think of anyway. Modifications, ablative plating up by 2 points. Look, if they're going to push those bombers on the Resistance, I think that's a wise move. Yep. Afterburner's down by 2 points. It's just lost its best platform in the TIE Silencer, so I think that's okay. Yep. It's not the auto ad that I thought it was going to be. And I think it's interesting on Vader now because Supernatural Reflexes is so expensive. Yeah. You can go like Vader with like a really cheap force upgrade and afterburners. Could be fun. Engine upgrades has now been slightly reduced. I like 7 points on a big ship with this. Yeah. The YTs are going to be very interested in this. I'm a Resistance player, so I'm curious to play around with that. Munitions Failsafe down by 1 to 1 point. It still
doesn't get any use.
Yeah, who cares? Whatever. Look, you can think about it on bombers and that kind of thing. I just don't think it's relevant enough. No. It could almost be 0 points, and I wouldn't be that interested in it. Yeah. Static Discharge Vanes up to 8. I think that's a reflection of Poe Dameron entering into the meta with the Black One title. Yep. Although FFG did state in a recent update on the forum that doesn't work because Static Discharge Vanes prevents getting the Ion token, therefore you do not meet the requirements of Black One. It's very confusing. Oh, okay. But anyway, it's this crazy combo card, so yeah, let's be careful with that. On to sensors. Advanced sensors up by 2 points. Yeah, it's an awesome card. I don't think that's a bad thing at all. It's one of the things Redline was playing with, so his build goes up a bit. Also, Forlom. Forlom himself hasn't gone up in points, but this has, so that feels okay to me. Yeah. I mean, he can take the now reduced fire control system for 2 points. That is very competitive.
That makes me feel very happy.
I mean, honestly, at 3 points, it didn't feel like an auto ad. I thought it would be. I like the passive dice mods that you just don't get in second edition, but requiring the target lock in a universe where target locks don't come for free because the old fire control system doesn't exist seems good. Trajectory Simulator up to 10 points. FFG, good call. Look,
well played.
Here's the thing. We are about to get Vulture Droids entering into the meta. I don't want a universe where for the first 3 months of their life, Vulture Droids struggle to see play because of this card. I think this is a very, very good call. It still sees play on things like Redline. I think, personally, they shouldn't have put it in second edition. Yeah. I think it was such a problem in first edition that they should have just cut their losses and thought of other ways to give bombers more versatility. Now, I know it's not as powerful because they don't bomb it like Initiative 10 or was it PS10 or whatever. Yeah. All that, it's got to do it beforehand, blah, blah, blah. It's not as powerful. It's still really good, you guys. Here's my answer to that.
Yeah, I suppose if you've got a whole bunch of Vulture Droids sitting on a rock and then...
The seismic trajectory simulator is not going to be their friend at all. No. And now platforms have to seriously investigate that combo. Yeah. And I think, honestly, some lists still might try it. Yeah. It's an answer to Vulture Droids if they take over the meta. I don't think they're going to take over the meta. I think they're going to try and find their feet for a few months. But yeah, in the meantime, they don't have their worst enemy. Seismic Charges has not changed. It's still at 3 points, and that is still great utility against them without Trajectory Simulator. Yeah. Also, Genius going up by 2 points, as I previously mentioned. Like, these things coming together is a good thing for Vulture Droids. And even like the Mining Guild tie that just came out as well. Yeah. Talents. Composure down by 1 point. Yeah, as I said before, it's training wheels for new players, so having to spend too many points to invest in it, it has no dumb combo. They fixed the rules, so there was going to be no swim to fill, getting free focus evade kind of thing. It's fine. Debris Gambit up by 1 point. Yep, that's fair. I love Debris Gambit. I still think at 3 points I'm going to take it on a lot of things. Like Poe Dameron's still taking that for 3 points. Yeah. Boba Fett's still taking that for 3 points for sure. Duke and Lone Wolf from 4 to 5 points. Again, they're just powerful things. Yeah. Now, the 4 of Phantom listers no longer exist.
Which is fair.
Yep, it's now 204 points if they want to try and do that. So, yeah, good call, FFG. I think just making sure that little outlier doesn't exist. It's not a list that's taking over a tournament like that, but it's something that is oppressive against certain lists, and it's not the kind of thing you want to come up against, especially as a new player. So I think that's a good call to make. Squad leader. Now this is interesting. It scales against initiative. I originally thought this was Swarm Tactics when I first read this, but no, this is the one that has red coordinate, and you can only coordinate things on your action bar.
Yeah.
See, to me, Swarm Tactics, like initiative, you pass off your initiative to other players. That's the one that scales with initiative. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
This is a bit more insidious, and I think the idea that you can coordinate another ship at initiative 6 is something to be sought after, because it can make your really low initiative guys arc dodge. I think that's the danger FFG are trying to avoid.
Yeah.
But it's not really something that's happening right now.
Yeah, I suppose, once Vulture Droids come out, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Oh, that's a good point. Yeah. That could be really fun on Vulture Droids. Are they going to get talents? Maybe they won't, because they're not synthetic. They're synthetic life forms, so maybe they don't get talents. Or who knows? Curious. I can only assume it has some kind of reflection on the meta that FFG were playtesting, so that's fine. Trick shot up by 1 point. Don't care. It's awesome.
Don't care.
Yeah, it's still great. I don't care. It was a great buy-in for 1 point. It's still a good buy-in for 2 points.
Yeah.
Me and you are still going to recommend this on every other list that we see. Prime thrusters now scales against initiative as well. That's cool.
Yeah.
It means on initiative 5, it's only 1 point more than it originally was. I have no complaints about that. It's a bit more expensive on initiative 6s.
So Poe's going to feel it a bit more, but...
honestly, on the Poe builds that I've done, I feel like there is room to spare.
Yeah.
So you could take a more streamlined sort of just BB-8 prime thrusters, debris gambit, you're off to the races.
Okay.
Like, cut away like the black one, some of the flak, and just go for the ultra efficient things, even though they're more expensive. I think this is fair. I will say, initiative 1 for 5 points, I don't really think that's worth it. I wouldn't stick this on initiative 1 guy. Okay, proton torpedoes up to 12 points from 9 points.
That's a bump.
It's the only piece of ordnance, missiles and torpedo-wise, that people are playing right now. So, despite the fact that it's the most expensive, it's clearly the most powerful. I don't think this is going to stop it from being played.
No.
I think, Luke still wants this.
Wedge still wants this.
Yeah, to be honest. It's going to have to find... it's going to have to be a bit more careful in the way you list build with it.
Yeah.
The Empire list cannot just slap it in straight anymore. The Empire builds with, Red Line were really tight.
Yeah.
It's going to be very difficult to build out with proton torpedoes now.
Yeah, I tried looking at that this morning.
No.
Not working.
But there are certain things that have come down significantly that want this. Like A-Wings can take it now.
Oh, yeah.
Basically, you're trading off that points difference. That's fine. A-Wings like torpedoes, so that's cool.
Yeah.
Last but not least, turrets are cheaper.
2 points.
2 points across the board. Dorsal turret for 2 points feels very good.
Yeah.
Dorsal turret and veteran turret gunner on Y-Wings. Dorsal turret and veteran turret gunner on VCX 100s. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think the Rebels are going to be seeing a little bit more play, I reckon.
Oh, they got to. Got to.
You can't see anything
The
less
X-Wing
play.
not changing, I think, was a bold move by X-Wing, by FFG, sorry.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that Luke and Wedge have decent meta share, I think it was the right call to make.
Yeah.
And I'm very excited to see what the Rebellion can do right now. I think this is going to push them into some relevance. I don't know if it makes them better than the Empire, but it gives them a good run.
Yeah.
For sure. And I like Dorsal turret 2 points. I think FFG were just very conservative with turrets to start off with. We're changing the rules. We're making them having to use actions to point in certain directions. And the result was, yes, they are fair now.
Yeah.
But they were a bit too expensive because they were a bit conservative to start off with. And I just changed them to reflect that. And I think that's a really good choice. And now we can do things with Y-Wings and VCXs, which are fun. You can do double tapping shenanigans, but it's not like shoot them in any direction, double tapping TLTs. It's not the space they were in first edition.
Exactly.
Very happy with that. Very happy with that. And I'm very happy with everything in general.
Yeah.
Nothing jumps out at me as being, oh, that feel bad. I think the one thing which makes me go, oh, was like the Boba Fett increase when all of Boba Fett's toys also got increased.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm excited to play around with Slave 1 and mess around with all that and see what kind of builds we can do.
Yeah, the only awe I had was null, but I completely understand why. So, yeah, I'm not fussed.
It's not like, oh, they ruined this ship or whatever.
I think realistically they made most ships better.
Yes, and they cut away the most oppressive things.
Yeah.
Redline, Whisper, I think were the two ones they had to hit, and hit them they did.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited to see about the new meta.
Yeah, even though they hit them, it's not terribly...
No, I
like,
think there'll still be Redline this, but it won't be like ultra efficient like Redline 2 aces and everything's going bang, 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 firing all cylinders. It'll be like Alpha Strike lists that happen to invest in a red line alongside like Alpha class stuff. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
And it's forcing the top tier players to experiment more, and that makes the meta fun. It's interesting, you were saying before, Stay on Target, is the podcast were saying it feels like X-Wing 3.0. I don't fully agree with that. I feel like it's just, this is what 2.0 is.
It's 2.0.1.
Exactly. Sure. That's a good way of putting it. The fact of the matter is the amount of ships we have and the amount of factions is increasing, but the amount of oppressive stuff is decreasing.
Yeah.
And this is what you can do with an app. And this is why the game needed a reboot. It feels so healthy being able to do this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
We're going to feel bad that our favourite ship doesn't work anymore, but that's okay because there are other ships you can fly. And it's a good thing for the meta overall. Yes, okay, I've rambled on for far too long. Very happy with all this. Guys, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Reddit. Please consider supporting the Patreon. Thanks to everyone that's been supporting the Patreon recently. Since that last update video I did, we've had a nice surge. We've actually hit our first goal. So I'll be updating that soon and we'll talk more about that. That'll all be after I move. Oh, check it out. My shelving unit's gone. I'm days away from moving. I'm so excited. Anyway, in the meantime, we'll catch you later.
Bye.